Thank you. Each member of the panel will have 5 minutes of questioning. Judge Kazin, you presided over several naturalization ceremonies, including 2 this year. In one of your addresses to our new citizens, you said, and I quote, "Your journey is not over. America is a country of immigrants. America has been made great by immigrants. We are all children of immigrants." That was a very poignant and profound statement, particularly in light of the gathering today. We have so many people aspiring to serve this nation whose stories are stories of immigrants coming to this country at great sacrifice to be part of America. So are there any other observations you'd like to make about your naturalization experience?
Senator, I talk to the participants in the ceremony that I am the product of immigrants. I'm a 4th generation Lebanese immigrant. My great-grandparents immigrated from Lebanon. And so I share with them the example that my grandfather and my father and what they accomplished and what their children is what I mean of their story has not ended. Their children and their descendants will contribute and have the potential to contribute to this country and enrich this country. And so the only other thing I can think of is presiding over those naturalization ceremonies is one of the most rewarding things I do as a judge, because those people, after they take the oath of citizenship, they are glowing with pride to become citizens of this country. And it's something that you can tell it's been a life accomplishment for them. It's extremely rewarding to share that experience with them.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Judge Park, I'm going to ask you a hard question. You served as public defender for 20 years, I believe?
That's correct.
And I've taken a look at some of the cases that you were called on to defend criminal defendants before the court. Some of the crimes that were charged were absolutely horrible against those defendants. What did you view as your responsibility as public defender and as an attorney when it came to the defense of these individuals?
Senator, I felt that it was my responsibility pursuant to the 6th Amendment of the Constitution to provide these individuals with zealous representation. That is what the Constitution demands, and that is what I provided to these individuals. So many individuals who come into the criminal justice system don't have an understanding of the crime that they've committed, the impact. And so throughout my career, I worked on many cases, as you've acknowledged, and throughout that process advocated for those individuals, but also understood the impact that their offense had on others, and tried to acknowledge that when we were dealing with the case.
Judge Kasabai, I hope I get your name correct before the end of the hearing. Am I close?
Senator, it's Kasubai, and yes, you are right on.
I looked at your record. It looks like 4 years or so, maybe 5 as magistrate, another 11 or 12 as a state court judge, and you come here today. Can you tell me about the nature of a courtroom? Many people's experience is limited to what they've seen on television, and having practiced before being elected to Congress in the Central District of Illinois and getting to know the federal judges, I know the temperament of the judge and the environment of the courtroom itself has such an impact on whether people feel that they're being treated justly and fairly. What is your experience?
Senator, over the 16 years that I've had the privilege of serving as a judge in both the state of Oregon and in our District Court of Oregon, temperament and demeanor, particularly from the judge, but that also extends to the way in which our staffs engage with the people that come into our courtroom, absolutely impact how access to the courts might really turn into actually accessing the courts. So it turns the potential into the reality. The foundation of that is humility. And frankly, humility is the foundation of all things that come from the court and upholding the rule of law. And so what I try to do when I sit on the bench is to ensure that I extend to people graciousness and patience, so they have not just the opportunity to be heard, but to be deeply heard, for their cases to be considered. And when I issue a ruling, whether somebody prevails or doesn't prevail, I want that ruling to be conveyed in a way that helps them to think of the court as a place in which decisions can be decided impartially, without regard to who they are, and that they were heard.
first man I ever worked for in politics said humility is the first casualty in politics. And maybe that's the case. I hope that our deportment on this side of the panel will be excellent today as well. Senator Graham.